Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the grand finale of Smart India Hackathon, says every child is special, deserves an opportunity to grow. Bangladesh acknowledges the attacks on Hindus, files 88 cases, arrests 70 accused till October. And police in South Korea raids President Yoon Suk Yeol's office. A second impeachment vote set for 14th December. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted that as the country is becoming digitally connected on a large scale, the threat of cybercrime is also continuously increasing. In an interaction with the young innovators at the grand finale of the Smart India Hackathon 2024 via video conferencing, the Prime Minister said India is one of the leading digital economies in the world. Lauding the young innovators, the Prime Minister said all of them have a different vision for the 21st century India. He said their solutions are crucial for India's future and can transform the lives of millions.
स्मार्ट इंडिया हैकेथॉन भारत के युवाओं को ग्लोबली बेस बनाने का एक बेहतरीन प्लेटफॉर्म बना है। जब से स्मार्ट इंडिया हैकेथॉन शुरू हुआ है, करीब 14 लाख स्टूडेंट्स ने स्मार्ट इंडिया हैकेथॉन में हिस्सा लिया है। इन छात्रों ने 2 लाख टीमें बनाकर करीब 3000 प्रॉब्लम पर काम किया है। 6400 से ज्यादा इंस्टीट्यूशंस, करीब 6500 इंस्टीट्यूशंस इससे जुड़े हैं। इस हैकेथॉन की वजह से सैकड़ों नए स्टार्टअप्स का जन्म हुआ है।
The Prime Minister emphasized that every child is special and deserves an opportunity to grow and flourish. He said that no one should be left behind or feel excluded. He said that to achieve this, innovative solutions are constantly needed.
हैकाथॉन भी हमारे नौजवानों को नए नए अवसर दे रहे हैं और ये सिर्फ कोई औपचारिक सा इवेंट नहीं है, एक स्थायी इंस्टीट्यूशन को इवॉल्व करने की प्रक्रिया है। ये हमारे प्रो पीपल गवर्नेंस मॉडल का हिस्सा है। साथियों, अगर हमें दुनिया की इकोनॉमिक सुपर पावर बनना है तो हमें इकोनॉमी के नए सेक्टर्स पर खूब काम करना होगा। आज भारत डिजिटल कंटेंट क्रिएशन से गेमिंग तक कई ऐसे सेक्टर्स में आगे बढ़ रहा है जो 10 साल पहले तक बहुत इवॉल्व नहीं हुए थे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the compendium of complete works of great Tamil poet and freedom fighter Subramania Bharati in New Delhi on Wednesday. Paying tributes to the great Tamil poet Subramania Bharati on his birth anniversary, the Prime Minister said today was a great opportunity for India's culture and literature, memories of India's freedom struggle and for the pride of Tamil Nadu.
महाकवि भारती जी का साहित्य विश्व की सबसे प्राचीन तमिल भाषा के लिए एक धरोहर की तरह है और हमें गर्व है कि दुनिया की सबसे पुरातन भाषा हमारी तमिल भाषा। जब हम उनके साहित्य का प्रसार करते हैं तो हम तमिल भाषा की भी सेवा करते हैं। जब हम तमिल की सेवा करते हैं तो हम इस देश की प्राचीनतम विरासत की भी सेवा करते हैं।
With an aim to enrich the economic policy debate, India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman addressed the Global Economic Policy Forum 2024. Speaking at the event, she said the inflation continues to be a major challenge for countries globally, adding that the problem cannot be tackled in isolation.
For this decade should be restore normalcy. Talk, sit and discuss. War should be avoided. Disruption should be avoided. They are the main cause for supply chain disruptions. They are the main cause for disruptions in food value chains. And also, when you look at it, inflation globally is a big challenge. And therefore, the primary cause, I would think, is the disruption, the skirmish, the war. And as a result, world is facing a challenge which is reflected in very many ways in our economies.
The minister said industries should work with small and medium enterprises to explore how they can support large units while equally contributing to job creation.
Industry should work together with small and medium units to see how they can be supportive of the large unit equally as much as they supporting job creation. So today the problem is not economic success, which is just production, but it is also economic success, which can spread benefits for those who are waiting for jobs and wages.
Sanjay Malhotra assumed office as the 26th governor of the Reserve Bank of India for a tenure of 3 years. In his first press conference after taking charge, the RBI governor said that he would continue to uphold the legacy of the institution and carry forward its 3 core themes, which have been maintained for the past 90 years: promoting growth, ensuring policy stability, and maintaining the public's trust.
The RBI in its 90th year has given to itself the theme of stability, trust, and growth. So all these 3 broad themes that have been chosen, very, very pertinent. Ours is still an economy which needs to develop as we are entering in this Amrit Kal, and to realize the vision of the Viksit Bharat.
He said that spreading financial inclusion is one of the most important goals of the central bank, and significant progress has been made in making banking accessible in every corner of the country.
One of the most important roles of the central bank here is to spread financial inclusion with the banking sector, banking and the non-banking finance companies under its fold. Huge responsibilities for financial inclusion. We have, of course, traveled a lot with in financial inclusion, especially with regard to making available and accessible banks to the doorsteps.
The Chief Economic Advisor to the Government of India, V. Ananta Nageshwaran, addressed the Global Economic Policy Forum 2024 held in New Delhi, where he urged regulators to support innovation in sectors like cryptocurrencies and online gaming. He said the need to differentiate regulations between financial and non-financial sectors to avoid excessive risk and instability. The economic advisor also urged transparency and accountability on the part of regulators while discussing the Indian economy with other eminent economists from India and around the world.
We have to be more conscious of social cost and benefits, whether it is crypto, bitcoins, and online gaming, etc. But to offset that, I would also say one thing. The same principle of transparency and social costs and benefits that we want to apply to regulated entities and some of the financial innovation should also apply to the regulators themselves. But they have to live by the same principles of transparency that the regulated entities are expected to live by, which means information sharing by regulators. Why are they proposing a particular regulation? What is the information at their disposal that is prompting them to contemplate it? What are the goals that they seek to achieve with that regulation? And what is the terminal date? And what are the criteria by which they will stop this and then retract? So in some sense, regulators have to be conscious of the limits of their unelected power.
The India Maritime Heritage Conclave 2024 is celebrating India's prominent role in global maritime history. DD India's Prasar Bharati had the opportunity to speak with Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Subramania Sonowal, who commended the event and emphasized the vital importance of India's maritime heritage on the world stage.
It's day one of India Maritime Heritage Conclave 2024, and to talk more on this, I have with me Union Minister Subramania Sonowal. Sir, how special this event is?
Very, very special, and now this is recollecting our past glory and heritage and culture of our maritime background and maritime effort. And we are really grateful to those our forefathers who have started this tradition and overcoming different challenges of life and ultimately set up that legacy which is ultimately helping us to have better dream for tomorrow. I believe this is now going to happen in the country because of our Honorable Prime Minister's visions and his exemplary leadership. And I believe whoever have participated in this 2 days event, definitely they are going to contribute a lot. Ultimately, this will become a kind of exemplary initiative which will inspire the rest part of the world.
Since this is the first conclave, what it holds for the future, sir? How do you see it as in future?
India is going to take over the leadership in the maritime sector. Within next 25 years, when India will celebrate 100 years of its independence, during that time you will see that India is enjoying the top position in the maritime sector.
That was Union Minister Subramania Sonowal, who praised the event and also highlighted the significance of India's maritime heritage. With camera person Manmohan, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in New Delhi.
India's lower house of parliament, the Lok Sabha, passed the Railways Amendment Bill 2024 on Wednesday during the winter session of the ongoing parliament session. The amendment primarily grants statutory powers to the Railway Board and was introduced by Union Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. The bill aims at enhancing the overall functioning and independence of the Railway Board. While addressing the House, Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav highlighted several key initiatives undertaken by his ministry.
कि अमृत भारत ट्रेन पूरी तरह से नॉन एसी है। 22 कोच में से 20 कोच जो पैसेंजर के, 2 कोच पार्सल के और इसके रहते हैं। 20 में से 10 स्लीपर कोच है और 10 जनरल कोच है, और इसमें वही टेक्नोलॉजी लगाई गई है जो कि वंदे भारत में ऑटोमेटिक कपलर्स की, अंदर बेटर क्वालिटी की ट्रेन, बेटर क्वालिटी की सीट्स की, चार्जिंग पॉइंट्स की, टॉयलेट्स एकदम नई डिज़ाइन के। दोनों ट्रेन्स अच्छी चली है। अनुभव के आधार पे 50 और गाड़ियों का प्रोडक्शन प्लान हाथ में ले लिया ऑलरेडी। आगामी जनवरी के महीने से या ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फरवरी के महीने से हर महीने 2-2, 3-3 ट्रेन अमृत भारत की नई आने लगेगी।
Minister Vaishnav emphasized that the Railways is making significant efforts to improve the lives of the common people.
महाकुंभ के लिए 13,000 ट्रेन की व्यवस्था की गई और अध्यक्ष जी, कहीं पर भी गरीबों के लिए, मध्यम वर्गीय परिवारों के लिए बहुत फोकस्ड वे में रेलवे का माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में काम चल रहा है।
All right, now take a look at what else is making news in India. The centre has told the Parliament that a total of 23 fugitives have been extradited from different countries over the last 5 years. During this period, India made 178 such requests, including for people involved in terrorist activities. IIT Delhi has secured the top spot among Indian universities in this year's QS Sustainability Rankings, whereas globally, IIT Delhi has jumped to 171 rank from last year's 426 rank. IISc Bengaluru has been ranked among the world's top 50 for environment education. And still to come on DD India Live. We tell you more on the 21st edition of the Auto Mechanica Dubai, West Asia's largest automotive aftermarket trade exhibition.
Nature could easily survive without us. We, however, couldn't really survive without it. But with these environmental problems, how do we make sure to secure our future? Let's find out.
So you just have to bring the sand from one place where it's not needed to the other place where it's needed. So that's called sand bypassing, sand nourishment. So that's the heart of the project.
Remediating the wetland will mean that the life of the wetland comes back to it. And if that happens, there will be money in every household inside that depends on the river.
It doesn't matter whether a farmer is educated, uneducated, skilled or not. This is a user-friendly app. A single touch is all it takes to operate and control the system. Anyone can use the app.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. First up, updates from Bangladesh, where a total of 88 cases have been filed in incidents related to minorities this year, while 70 people were arrested in connection. In a regular press briefing, Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam mentioned about the recent attacks on minorities. He said that the tally of arrests may increase as new cases of violence erupted. He also reaffirmed that those guilty will be brought to justice. He added that there might be cases where some victims were members of the previous ruling dispensation. There have been a spate of incidents of violence against minorities as well as attacks on temples in Bangladesh in the last few weeks that triggered strong concerns from New Delhi.
Violence হয়েছে মাইনরিটিকে টার্গেট করে তো সেই বিষয়ে আমরা একটা পুলিশের থেকে আমরা একটা প্রতিবেদন পেয়েছি তারা বলছে যে মোট 70 জন সোফার অ্যারেস্টেড হয়েছে আর 88টা কেস
Countries around the world are responding to the news that Syria's President Bashar al-Assad has been pushed out of power by rebels after a nearly 14-year-long civil war that's left 500,000 people dead and several millions displaced, many of whom migrated to Germany and other parts of Europe. To explain Germany's response is DW correspondent Emily Leshner, who joins us from Berlin. Emily, what's been the response from Germany?
The German government released a statement saying that it is willing to work with Syria's new leaders, but under certain conditions. And that's because the rebel group that has overthrown Syrian President Bashar Assad's regime, which is Hayat Tahrir al-Sham or HTS, it's considered a terrorist organization by the EU as well as the United States, Turkey, and the UN. That's because it's split off from al-Qaeda some years ago. So Scholz and other EU leaders are treading very lightly when it comes to pledging full support, all the while remaining hopeful that Syria's new government can stabilize the country. And Germany has also decided to temporarily suspend asylum applications submitted by Syrian refugees, which a number of other European countries have done as well. The Office for Migration and Refugees in Germany says that this decision will impact around 48,000 applications.
Now, many Syrians migrated to Germany after the start of the war. Is it likely they'll move back to Syria now? What does this mean for Germany?
Well, that is true. With the exception of Turkey and Lebanon, Germany is home to the most Syrians outside the country. There are just under 1 million Syrian nationals currently living in Germany. This is according to the German Interior Ministry. And of those 1,320,000 are here with refugee status, and around 5,000 are recognized asylum seekers. We have heard anecdotally that many Syrians who fled the war and came to Germany are making plans to go back to help reconstruct their homeland, or just go back simply because they can, which they weren't sure they would ever be able to do. But there's also a lot of uncertainty amongst the Syrian diaspora. There are questions about whether the safety and security will remain permanent. And the question for many Syrians at this point, more than a decade after the war began, is do they want to return? Many have settled in to Germany and other places in Europe, which is not necessarily easy to do. There are a lot of bureaucratic hoops that immigrants have to go through to obtain permanent residency or citizenship here. Once you get through these hoops, you might be inclined to stay. And in 2022, almost 50,000 Syrians received citizenship. That figure is double what it was the year prior. And, at the same time, there are still so many barriers to fully integrating here, like foreign qualification recognition. So if, for example, if you were a professor in Syria, but you haven't been able to find a job delivering packages or at a local grocery store, you might also be inclined to return. If Syrians do return to Syria en masse, it will definitely impact Germany's labor market, which is already suffering from a large number of vacancies in very important sectors like healthcare and transportation. And some of these sectors, there are Syrian refugees who definitely work in them. So this would certainly have an impact.
All right. Emily, thank you. Emily Leshner reporting there from Berlin. Right, moving on, in South Korea, the police have raided the presidential office of the East Asian nation today as the investigation into President Yoon Suk-yeol's declaration of martial law gathers pace. The special investigation team raided several key locations, including the presidential office, the National Police Agency, the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency, and the National Assembly Security Service. President Yoon is facing insurrection charges for declaring martial law, but he has not been arrested or questioned yet. He is already under a travel ban. In other developments, former Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun attempted to kill himself before being formally arrested for his role in the martial law operation. Kim resigned last Thursday and was arrested on Tuesday on charges including engaging in critical duties during an insurrection and abuse of authority to obstruct the exercise of rights. South Korea's National Assembly Speaker Woo Won-shik has invoked the parliamentary right to launch an investigation into the martial law situation. South Korean Prime Minister Han Duk-soo said he blames himself for failing to stop the emergency martial law which was declared by President Yoon last week. Meanwhile, thousands of protesters rallied outside the parliament in Seoul demanding the impeachment and arrest of South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol and the disbandment of his party following last week's martial law attempt. Meantime, North Korea has reported for the first time on South Korea's ongoing political turmoil, says Yoon Suk-yeol's insane act, a serious crisis of governance and impeachment, declared martial law unexpectedly and unleashed the guns of the fascist dictatorship on the people. The 21st edition of Auto Mechanica Dubai, the West Asia's largest automotive aftermarket trade exhibition, opened at the Dubai World Trade Center with unprecedented Indian participation, reflecting the country's growing influence in the global automotive sector. The Indian contingent is led by the Engineering Export Promotion Council India and Automotive Component Manufacturers Association. The exhibition, supported by the UAE Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, serves as a vital trading link connecting West Asia, Africa, the Indian subcontinent, Asia and key CIS countries. The exhibition will continue till 12th December, providing opportunities for business networking, technology exchange and trade development in the automotive aftermarket sector.
We are organizing this Automechanica Dubai 2024 with more than 100 companies exhibiting through Engineering Export Promotion Council and ACMA, New Delhi. And most of the companies are basically into aftermarket. This is basically the exhibition is about aftermarket products. So we have companies manufacturing engine, then bearings, and a lot of genuine parts of being supplied to from OEM companies as well as US partner brands.
New York City streets have once again transformed into a winter wonderland, delighting residents and visitors alike. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree was officially lit recently, drawing crowds eager to witness the iconic, dazzling tree. Sourced from West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, this marks the first tree from the state since 1959. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.
This week on Defense Dynamics, we will talk about the Syrian war. We'll get into the geopolitics of Middle East that is pivoted around Syria. Who lost and who won, and what this means for the people of West Asia. Beyond this, the new Cold War has just begun. It is the semiconductor war between the United States and China. It is the war of controlling the technology in the realms of artificial intelligence. It is being said that artificial intelligence could prove to be even more lethal than the nuclear bomb. So what does this mean for our future? Watch all this on Defense Dynamics every Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.